Hi folks, Navy Dowty here.
A few years ago, I gave a talk to a group of business people at the iconic, fabulous Carnegie Hall in Manhattan. Martha Stewart was there. Ice-T was even there. Jerry Greenfeld of Ben and Jerry's. Walter O'Brien, fifth smartest man in the world, was there. He was the inspiration for the TV series you might have seen, Scorpion. I needed something really great to tell these people. Here's what I told them. We're sitting on the island of Manhattan, and almost 400 years before that, Peter Minuet bought the island from the local natives for $24. Seemed like a really bad deal for the sellers. However, consider this. Suppose they had been able to invest that money all that time at 8% compounded annually. What do you think that would be worth now? This will shock you. It's over $320 trillion. $320 trillion. 24 would have grown to over $320 trillion over that time span. Isn't that shocking? By that measurement, not that bad of a thing for the sellers. In fact, the assessor of Manhattan says the whole island and all the real estate's worth a little under $2 trillion, barely a rounding error, about 0.5% of the 320 trillion. However, consider this. Suppose that they couldn't invest it at 8%. Maybe they could have made the 8%, but then they had to pay 40% of that every year out in taxes. What do you think would be left? Not over 320 trillion, 2 billion. Think of that. That's an example of the destructive power of taxes. 2 billion is barely more than one iconic skyscraper, the Empire State Building, which is, as I'm recording this, valued at about 1.9 billion. So 320 trillion down to 2 billion just because of the 40% reduction from taxes every year. And I can tell you, if you're watching this, some of you are actually paying more taxes than that if you add all your taxes up. For the average American, right now, Tax Freedom Day is past the end of April. That means a third of your year you're working just to pay taxes. Now, we all have to pay taxes. Some of us think we might be paying more taxes than we have to. In fact, if you remember Arthur Godfrey, he's famous for saying, I'm really proud to be able to pay taxes in America, but I could be just as proud paying half the taxes. In fact, that's such a great saying that the IRS actually has that on their website. Who said the IRS doesn't have a sense of humor? Now, granted, most of us don't have 400 years to let our money grow. However, that is a, albeit exaggerated, example of the awesome destructive power of taxes over time. So how do you cope with this destruction? Many of you have intergenerational wealth that will get destroyed by the tax burden. You add all the taxes up. It's not just federal income tax. You have state tax, you have inheritance tax, you have generation skipping tax, IRD tax. It goes on and on and on. How about property taxes? Are your property taxes going up? Many cities, they're up 40%. We all have to pay our taxes, but excess taxes we don't have to pay. So here's one solution. If you'd like to get a copy of my proprietary trademarked Smiling Retiree Process Checklist, click the link below and I'll get you a copy. I'm Navy Dowty, and remember, financial fitness can be beneficial to your wealth.